Intro scene, a dimly lit old suburban house at night. I was about 12 years old when this happened. A group of us kids from the neighborhood decided to play hide and seek at my friend's house. His place was older, with a long, creaky basement that always gave me a bad feeling. Of course, that's where everyone wanted to hide. Early scene, creaky wooden staircase descending into basement. It was my turn to seek. I counted to 30 with my eyes shut, listening to the sound of feet scurrying across the house. Doors creaked, laughter echoed, and then silence. I opened my eyes and began my search. The first few kids weren't hard to find. I pulled open a closet and found one friend giggling behind the coats. Another had squeezed under the dining room table. But soon the trail went cold. I knew at least one or two of them had gone down into the basement. The stairs groaned under my weight as I descended. The air grew colder, and the smell of damp cement filled my nose. I called out, "I'm gonna find you." My voice bounced back at me in a strange echo. Middle scene, old furnace with cracked, dusty shoe sticking out. I scanned the room with the weak pull-chain light overhead. I saw a pile of boxes, a laundry machine, and shadows stretching across the concrete. Then I noticed something odd. Behind the old furnace, I could see part of a shoe sticking out. Grinning, I crept over. "Gotcha," I whispered. But when I leaned over to grab the foot, my smile vanished. The shoe was ancient, dusty, and cracked, like it had been sitting there for years. No one was wearing it. Climax scene, basement corner, flickering light, faint silhouette. Then, from the far corner of the basement, I heard slow, heavy breathing. Not the playful giggle of a kid hiding. This was deeper. Wet, raspy. I froze. Suddenly, the pull-chain light above me swayed, flickering. The breathing grew louder, moving closer. I didn't wait. Ending scene, basement door slamming shut as child runs upstairs. I bolted up the stairs, slamming the basement door shut behind me. When we regrouped, I asked my friends who hid down there. All of them shook their heads. "Nobody went in the basement," one of them said. I never went back in that house again. Intro scene, dense nighttime forest with kids scattering with flashlights. This one happened when I was 16. A bunch of us were camping out in the woods near my cousin's place. It was summer, and we thought it would be fun to play hide and seek at night with only flashlights. The woods were thick, and the crickets chirped loud. The game started, and we all ran in different directions. I found a spot near a cluster of fallen trees and crouched down, keeping my flashlight off so I wouldn't give myself away. Suspense builds, POV from behind a fallen tree, faint figure in distance. After a few minutes, I heard footsteps crunching leaves nearby. Someone was coming. I held my breath, expecting to be found. But the steps didn't stop at my hiding place. They circled, slowly, deliberately. I whispered my cousin's name, thinking it was him. No reply, just the sound of breathing. Climax scene, flashlight beam cutting through trees, no one visible. Finally, I turned on my flashlight. The beam hit nothing but trees. Nobody was there. But the second I turned it off, the footsteps started again, closer this time. Escape scene, teenager running through woods toward faint campfire. Panic rose in my chest. I leapt from my hiding spot and ran back toward camp, shouting for my friends. When I reached them, they were all sitting by the fire, laughing and roasting marshmallows. None of them had been looking for me yet. The seeker hadn't even started searching. Ending scene, campsite at night, lone flashlight beam sweeping tents. I swore I heard someone out there circling me, but the strangest part came later that night, as we all tried to sleep in our 10. Intro scene, old house at night, faint warm light glowing from one window. When I was 10, I went to a sleepover at a girl's house from school. There were about 5 of us, and late at night someone suggested hide and seek in the dark. Her house was big, with an attic that you had to climb a narrow staircase to get to. Of course, I ended up being the seeker. Everyone scattered, giggling and screaming as I counted. The house grew silent. I started upstairs checking closets and underbeds, but nobody was easy to find. Then I noticed the attic door slightly open. Early scene, dusty attic filled with furniture covered in sheets. I climbed the creaky steps and whispered, "I know someone's up here." The attic smelled of dust and mothballs. Old furniture was draped in white sheets, shapes like ghosts frozen in place. I walked between them, my heart racing. Middle scene, old wardrobe slightly ajar, shadows creeping across floor. Then I heard it, a soft shuffle, like bare feet moving across the floorboards. I followed the sound, weaving deeper into the attic until I reached a corner where a tall wardrobe stood. The door was ajar, just enough for someone to slip inside. I grinned, pulled it open, and shouted, "Found you!" But the wardrobe was empty. Climax scene. Pale figure crouched behind a covered chair, hair hiding face. I turned around quickly, and in the dim light from the attic window, I saw a figure crouching behind one of the covered chairs. It was small, pale, with stringy hair hanging over its face. I laughed nervously, thinking it was one of the girls playing a trick. "All right, you got me," I said. The figure slowly tilted its head. Then, without a word, it crawled on all fours across the floor, straight into the shadows. Ending scene. Child running down attic stairs, attic door left open in darkness. I screamed and bolted out of the attic, down the stairs, and into the living room where the others were. They looked at me confused. Every single one of them had been hiding downstairs. None of them had gone near the attic. To this day, I don't know what I saw in that house.